Hey guys, this is 4th grade Rats Chapter 5. Before we read Chapter 5 and go over our learning goal, I just want to briefly talk about the last chapter and what happened. We last left off with the family. They were eating dinner. Suds was getting a little bit irritated from his sister, and he ended up storming off, and his mom told him to come here. And what do you remember Suds doing? I want you to stop the video, reflect on it with your learning coach. Okay, so Suds was tempted to do what Joey told him to do. If you remember, Joey told him to say no to his mom, but he didn't. He just walked away and I believe he went straight to his room. Okay, so now let's go ahead and look over our learning goal for Chapter 5. It says, I can pay attention to the setting of the story to see how it influences characters' actions. So as we go through this chapter, we're going to pay attention to what the setting of the story is. You can see right here, the setting. Also, we're going to see how a character might be influenced by his actions. Now, what does influence mean? Influence means being able to change someone's personality or character. Sometimes you can have good influences, sometimes you can have bad influences. But you've heard maybe the saying before that someone is being such a bad influence, so they might be changing you to do not so nice things. Maybe you hear someone that's lying, and that can influence you to have you lie because you might think that it's okay to do if you see other people doing it. Alright, so we're going to look at the story and how the character, which we're going to be paying attention to Suds, how he might be influenced based on the setting of the story and maybe the people that he's around within that setting. So what you need to do before we start reading also is set up your journals to take notes, just like we did last week. So we want to set it up with our thoughts, words, and actions. Okay, so just a brief reminder, this is what it looks like. So if you don't remember how to take notes or how to set up your notes, this is what it's going to look like. T for thoughts, W for words, A for actions. Okay, so don't forget to take your notes as I read the story. Chapter 5. You're not funny. Later, my mother cornered me in my room. Okay, she said. Is that how dinner is going to be every day? A madhouse? It's not my fault, I told her. All I did was get promoted to 4th grade. My mother sat on the bed. Sudsy, maybe you're taking this too seriously. It's just a school kid's rhyme, you know. I'm not sure it'll pass over in a day or two. I'm sure it'll pass over in a day or two. Sure, I sneered. Tell that to all the kids at school calling me a rat. Tell it to Zippernose. Tell it to Joey. Sorry, I meant Joey. Okay, so if you were paying attention, there was an action that I noticed. Suds sneered. So if you are taking your notes, that might be something you want to put down, that Suds sneered. He sneered at his mom. Okay, so let's sit and reflect on our learning goal. We're supposed to figure out where the setting of the story is. So I want you to reflect on that. I gave you a little hint in the beginning of this lesson where they're at. So go ahead and sit and reflect on that. Okay, so hopefully you found out where they are. If not, go back a few pages or go back to the last video and listen to the hint I gave. Okay, what does Joy say about all this? I laughed. Ha, he loves it. He's glad he's a rat. He says it's nature's way. He says it's a step up to being a man. She chuckled. The way to a man is to a rat, huh? I keep telling you, it's not funny. You're right, she said. She spanked her own hand. There. Bad mom. That'll teach me. I glared at her. You can forget it if you're trying to make me laugh. It's not working. She pretended to pout. Darn. Okay, no more funny stuff. You're miserable and that's that, right? Right. Okay, so Joey right there expressed that he is feeling miserable. Where would that go under your notes? Under thoughts, words, or actions? Okay. Bath didn't help? Yeah, it did. Till I had to get out. She snapped her fingers. Aha! All right. I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to call the school and pull you out of there. We'll hire a tutor to come in and teach you. She can sit on the toilet seat while you're in the tub. We'll serve you your meals. There. After a couple months, you should be shriveled down to the size of, a frog? I pointed to the door. Mom, out. Or maybe we could put wheels on the bathtub and roll you off to school each day. We could... Mom! She shut up. She stood. She was biting her lip to keep from cracking up at her own hilarious self. So, it looks like Suds is feeling a certain way, but her mother, or his mother, isn't taking the situation that seriously. What are some of the hints that you find in the story that shows that mom doesn't really think anything of Suds' problem? Where's the proof in the story? Okay, so hopefully you reflected on that with your learning coach. If not, in parts of the story, she's chuckling, she's pretending to pout, and she's cracking up at her own. She's keeping herself from cracking up. While Suds feels a different way. Hopefully you've jotted some things down that shows some proof of how Suds is feeling. Okay. She took a deep breath. She put her hand on my shoulder. Tell you what, there's more than one way to become a man. What's that? I said. Go sweep the sidewalk. You'll be a man in no time. She looked at me. I looked at her. Joey's voice hissed in my ear. Say no to your mom. Joey's voice was no match for my mother's looks. I got to the broom and went outside. I went to the sidewalk. Okay, so looks like we're changing the setting now. So in the first part of this chapter, we were somewhere, and now we're transitioning into another setting. Hopefully you can catch, or you caught where we are now. I got to the broom and went outside. I swept the sidewalk. My father had just cut the grass. He was putting the mower back in the garage. His weights were in the corner. They were covered with dust. Dad, I said, do you still lift your weights? Haven't for a couple years now, he said. I'm saving them for you and Bubba. Okay, so what is Suds doing right now? He is talking to his dad. So where would you put that under your notes? Under thoughts, words, or actions? Hopefully some of you guys came up with other thoughts, words, or actions that I haven't mentioned, but I'm just giving you a couple hints of where you could find some proof in the text. Dad, I said, do you still lift weights? Haven't for a couple years now, he said. I'm saving them for you and Bubba. Did they help you become a man? He looked at me. Oh, I don't know. I guess they helped me look like one. Can I see your muscle? He wheeled the mower into its place. He laughed. You haven't asked me that in a long time. You used to ask me every day. I lifted his arm to get him started. Well, come on. Let me see. Okay, page 46. Forgive me for the noise in the background. That's my neighbor. He's building a new house. Okay, so anyways, look at this. Okay, I'm gonna pause it for a little bit. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. Now, let's look at this picture right here. How does this picture help the reader as they're going through the story? Why do you think the author had an illustrator create this picture? Why is it important? Go ahead and reflect that with your learning coach. Okay, so maybe you're able to see that there's type of emotions Suds has with his father, and you can clearly see that in their faces. So, how do you think they're expressing their feelings towards each other? Looks like they're enjoying each other's company. They really enjoy each other's company. Okay, so let me go ahead and continue reading. He put his hand behind his head and made the muscle. It looked like a baseball in there, or even a softball. Make it bounce, I told him. He made it bounce. I reached up and touched it. It was smooth and round and hard, like wood. Pull me up, I said, like you used to. He lowered his arm a little. I don't know if I still can. You're not such a shrimp anymore, you know. I grabbed on with both hands. Hoist away. His arm started to crank up. My legs got straight, then I was on tiptoes. Then I was off the ground. I hung there for a couple seconds. Then he let me down. We went back out. He closed the garage door. I asked him if he used to take a lunchbox to school when he was in 4th grade. Okay, I want you to make a prediction. What do you think Suds' dad's response is going to be? Do you think he took the lunchbox to school in 4th grade that might have been similar to Suds'? Okay, so hopefully I gave you a hint right there. Suds is asking his dad a question. Where would that go under thoughts, words, or actions? Okay, let me turn the page. He thought. He nodded. Yep, I did. Did it have anything on the outside of it? Nope. It was one of those old-fashioned ones, like Grandpa took to work. I wanted one just like his. No animals on it, huh? Elephants, anything? He shook his head. No, afraid not. It was black, about as dull as a lunchbox gets. He opened the front door. How about swings, Dad? Did you ever kick a little kid off a swing? He stopped. He looked at me funny. Where did that question come from? Somebody kick you off a swing? Oh no, I said, heading inside. Just wondering. When I pulled down my bed cover that night, I found a mouse trap on my pillow. Dad thought we had a mouse once. It was set with a little piece of cheese. I tripped it with a pencil. I snapped like a cat pistol and flipped halfway up to the ceiling. I grabbed the trap, charged down the hall to Zipper Nose's room, yanked open her door, and rifled the trap into the dark, right about where she would be lying in bed. The phone rang. I didn't bother with the squawks coming from Zipper Nose's room. I picked up the phone. A voice whispered, "Did you say no to your mother?"